Hey, what's up, party people? Happy hump day. Welcome to another exciting Wednesday edition of SJU. It's just Spencer and Danielle today. S&D, search and destroy. We're doing it. We got a lot of fun stuff for you today. Godzilla versus Kong. How big is that box office dominance? Is it Titan-sized? Who's to say? Because nobody ever tells us what the numbers really are, but we'll speculate. Also, more details on the Knives Out. Massive deal for Ryan Johnson. Angelina Jolie plays a hard drinking fire person. You believe it?
I can't believe it.
All right, whatever. And then we'll, of course, talk to you guys with your chat questions and AMAs. So keep those coming while we discuss Godzilla versus Kong, showing signs of success. This is via the ever reputable Samba TV. I've never heard of this, but let's see what they have to say. Along with being the first worldwide and domestic blockbuster since the COVID-19 pandemic, GVK is also showing signs of being a huge streaming win for HBO Max. Here's where the caveats go: that none of these places actually release their numbers, because then, I don't know, maybe they'd have to pay the actors residuals or something, or tell their shareholders that they're failures. Whatever, I'm sure it's for legitimate reasons. But Samba TV is a firm that uses smart TV data only. I have a smart TV. Look at that. So they're scanning me. Godzilla versus Kong in its first 3 days, 2.6 million stream. You want to call it streams, I guess?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Look at this cool infographic we have. Man, Fandom, you guys, they're so on it.
Shout out to the social team. I just download images from our Twitter.
Synergy. This is beating out Wonder Woman 1984, with that 2.2 million streams in the first 3 days. And I hate to mention this, pains me, but the Snyder Cut in its first 4 days, as far as smart TVs go, a paltry 1.8 million. So this is huge. This is a huge, as far as smart TVs, according to Samba TV goes, a massive, massive hit. Is this proof that the system works, that releasing something on HBO Max and in theaters at the same time, because it did very well in theaters too? Is this a win-win, or is this just a one-off, Danielle?
I think it's a one-off. I think it'd be interesting if it was a win-win where we would be able, but I think we're not going to be able to test that until later in the year. And by that time, who knows if they've even, it feels like we could only know if they keep doing it. But by the time they get to the point where they decide to keep doing it, more things are going to be open. And so we probably won't be able to. But and the numbers are looking great, and I assume, again, those are like households, so it's like multiple people watching. I'm very interested to see if they continue doing this trend after all of the summer is over.
Yeah, because just speaking of the fortuitous timing of this movie, this felt like, or last week felt like, the first weekend. I think it was the first weekend that theaters were open in Los Angeles, where you could go safely, or at least when they went from like 25% to 50% capacity or something like that. So I think you're seeing all the pent-up demand just rushing to see the first big spectacle possible. And I don't know, maybe that'll the numbers in China have actually stayed quite strong, and people have been going to the movies very consistently in very big record-setting numbers since the pandemic restrictions were lifted there. So maybe we'll get like a whole season out of this. Maybe it'll be a hot movie summer.
Oh, hot movie summer. That's what I mean. We're already seeing thirst traps for it. And of course, a hot movie summer thirst trap is not a regular kind. It's just a dude that you know with a giant tub of popcorn almost crying because he got to leave his house. Like, those are the thirst traps that I've been seeing on my timeline. Like, people are real excited for a chance to get, especially like you said, something like that. Like, you want to see that on a big screen. And so, yeah, we'll see. I think it might be a hot movie summer.
Well, you want to see it on a big screen, but you also want the option of not seeing it on a big screen, or at least I do. And right now, none of the studios have indicated that this is anything but temporary. But is there any world in which we get this to happen in 2022? Or do you think they'll go back to just theatrical only with the old window? Or do you think this will, like, maybe somewhere in between, like this will just shorten the window between theater and home streaming?
Yeah, I think it's going to wind up shortening the window because they're seeing that people, they'll pay for it. And it's going to be, obviously, now with HBO Max, this was part of streaming, but then we've also got the ones where you have to pay extra. So those prices will likely come down for that, or they'll just go straight to that. I do see there being a world in which it's open on theaters, and then they do a short rental window again, like once it leaves theaters or once it's starting to like peter out, and that one will have to be cheaper. It'll have to be like $15 or something, not like $30 for you to see it, and then it'll go to streaming in like a month or so after that. But I think that the rental model is going to be the one that's going to be kind of fudgy.
It's so hard to tell because no one's talking. You know, we have to guess at what the viewership numbers really are. We have to guess at, you know, how much Disney's made on these, you know, premiere prices when you have to pay $30 to see Raya or whatever. We can only just kind of infer it from social media or just like the conversation around it, which is not a good guide, as evidenced by the fact that if these numbers are to be believed, the Snyder Cut was in third place out of those three releases, which is crazy. How do we figure out how popular something actually is? Can you help me?
I think I know that it's got to be trending and people talking about it, because I think I mentioned it before. But with Legendary, they were actually like commenting on the fact that so many people were talking about Kong versus Godzilla, Godzilla versus Kong. So for me, but it's also like, it depends on who you follow. Like, I guess for social media, it's just them paying a lot of attention to film Twitter, and that doesn't do anybody any good, because we're a talky bunch. So I think, it's got to be, if they're not letting us act, like they're not releasing the numbers, all we can guess is, well, this trended for a weekend, so it must be something that people are into.
I mean, it's low stakes for us who just like BS about it on the internet, but it's more like, how do we get people paid or really know what a success is for the filmmakers and the actors and stuff like that, which the system now or previously was built on, you know, residuals. It's like, well, this many people saw the show or it got picked up in syndication, or this many people saw the movie or whatever, so here's your percentage of that. Now it's like I don't know if that even exists. I guess the way Netflix does it is they just give them a big check up front, and they're like, that's it. Now go. Now go away. But these are still, the other movie studios ostensibly, like, they owe these people money over the life of the entire film, and who's to say who's watching it?
Right.
Yeah, they're gonna. I wonder when the next round of negotiations is between, you know, the WJ, DGA, SAG, and stuff like that in the studios, because I feel like this is just, in one form or another, this is the way things are going to go now, and somebody's going to have to know what the real numbers are.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be part of the bargaining, is that even if it's like, we won't tell anybody, we won't release it, put it under, a confidentiality clause, but we're going to need to know exactly what these numbers are, so that we can start crafting these deals. I definitely think that's going to be one of, if not the next major fights.
Yeah, because they could be like, oh, I'm sorry, your show was a huge flop.
Right. And how would you know without seeing any kind of data or evidence?
And then also they can be like, they can create a flop by just pushing things lower in the algorithm or what's recommended. Like, if they don't want to pay somebody, it's like, oh yeah, you're going to have to search that in, and you're going to have to get the caps right, and you're going to have to spell it correctly.
Yep. You're going to have to, you start with S, and then you're just boned, because now you're getting every S movie, Yeah.
Oh man, shenanigans.
And Spencer, I could see the Snyder Cut crowd being maybe less heavy on smart TV, and also being like a big console crowd, or you know what I'm saying? Like, you just never know like who's watching on what and the demographics. And there's also a scenario where like all three of these are good, like all three are pretty good numbers, even if they maybe have like comparisons to each other. But that we've had honest trailers that do less in views but bring in more subscribers. So there's always that chance that could be something for Snyder Cut too, where it's really judged by how many new people it brings in. Like some of the director ones that we did on his trailers, they do, maybe less than a Star Wars, but they bring in more subscribers because it hits a chord with them and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's a good point, because if you're not buying a ticket, what does HBO Max care how many people saw it as opposed to how many people signed up because of it? So yeah, it's a brave new world. We're just trying to make sense of it. So we'll all figure this out together.
And it's great that it got both the box office, and it seems like people like that's the win, is that it's getting money at the box office and it's bringing streams in. Like, if you're making the budget and marketing back in the theaters and making the theaters happy, and then also getting your whatever views and whatever new subs to HBO Max, I mean, that seems like that could be could possibly be a formula that could really work.
It's a win. And then, it's also just a beautiful, timely tale that needs to be seen right now. It's when I think our society needs it the most,
This is how we heal.
This is how we heal. Exactly. Thank you guys for watching to this point. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the like, hit the bell. Send $15 in an unmarked envelope to the Fandom office every month, and you will continue to receive content like this. Also, you can check out Joe Starr sat down with Fenway Jones from Jasper's Game Day to discuss D&D and mental health awareness, suicide prevention, and things of that nature. So there should be a link in the description for that. And the Falcon Winter Soldier reviews should be back with Roth and Eric this Friday. Moving on. We talked about that $500 million almost. 469 million. Nice deal for two sequels for Knives Out. There's more info via the Hollywood Reporter. Danielle Craig, Ryan Johnson, and Ram Bergman could get $100 million plus each. Damn, Daniel Craig. That's a lot of martinis and mint juleps or whatever. Whatever I want, your choice. Ryan Johnson has, quote, immense creative control and won't get any notes from Netflix. But is that really a surprise? Does anybody get notes from Netflix?
Yeah, I'm not sure how their notes process would even work. I kind of feel like, because at this point, you gave them the money already. Like, you've already made the deal. So I mean, that you get the money and you don't get anyone telling you what to do. This is pretty nice.
Yeah.
Pretty nice.
I get the sense from watching Netflix programming that they just view it in terms of like bulk content. It's like Costco. It's like, oh, we got 3 racks of content out of this guy. Great. And then when they release stuff, it's just like Fury Road with just the water pouring out of the skull, except it's miniseries and teen rom-coms. Let's see. Each sequel gets at least the first film's $40 million budget. That gets you a couple almost A-listers to stand around and talk to each other, and then a lot of sweaters. So just reading some quotes here. I hope it's interesting because it's long and Ryan put it in the script, so I'm just going to dive right in.
Yeah,
Johnson and Bergman were considered big backers of the theatrical experience, but that was before the pandemic hit. Theatrical took a nosedive and back end became non-existent. That's what I was talking about. The back end, that's the term for it. In January, with the pandemic in full swing and a hoped-for summer production start for a sequel, Johnson and Bergman questioned the near-term viability of theatrical releasing. CAA began shopping the deal, and streamers like Netflix pounced hard. The original film's distributors, MRC and Lionsgate, which in normal times may have gotten the project, could not compete. It became the perfect storm, said one insider. This would not have happened a year ago. Danielle, thoughts?
They are right. It's something that we've talked about where it's because you have all of these things happening at once. Now suddenly you're able to do this thing, which, yeah, there's no way this happens last summer. Everything would have been going to theatrical. So that's, you never want to thank a pandemic, but it's pretty sweet for the people who get that big $100 million. That's like just for them.
Yep. Now the figure that is being thrown around, the 469 nice $1 million figure, that's like, I don't know, is that a bet that Lionsgate and MRC should have taken? I mean, this is 2 movies. The first one was a big hit. Do you spend 469 to make $1 billion off of those 2? Is it as close to a sure thing as you'll get?
You know what? I wouldn't, because it feels like there's always, sometimes these things take a dip. And if I'm a Lionsgate or an MCR, I wouldn't risk it. I would let them go ahead and, Netflix, again, we don't understand how this works, but they just seem to have a Scrooge McDuck money pit, and they're willing to throw all of those coins, just letting everybody swim in that money. So if you're MCR and Lionsgate, you're not competing with Netflix. Netflix is almost like its own thing, Yeah,
I mean, it's always worth remembering that Netflix is deficit financing everything. Like I think they're supposed to be profitable in 2030 or something like that. And until then, they're just trying to outspend to just stay alive and stay on top until everybody else falls into a Bane-like hole from which we can never emerge in the darkness.
It'll be interesting to see what happens when that check becomes due, for real. I'm very excited to see when someone's finally like, oh, and sir, here's your check.
Yeah.
No tips, please. So
they're going to send development execs to like outer Mongolia to try to find content that like works for them so they can sign up like, the last remaining people to Netflix.
They're just chasing people down. You can see like the helicopter coming like, where's your Netflix? Have you signed up yet? Free month.
Yeah. There you go. We will obviously be covering that as it develops. But there's a new movie coming to HBO Max in a couple weeks. In a month or so, May 14th. And this is from one of my favorite filmmakers working today, Taylor Sheridan. He made Hell or High Water, Sicario. a lot of dudes being gruff movies
Oh,
and
he's
ladies
also an
being gruff
actor.
ladies. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
he plays that guy whom is the rough dude. Because I remember him from Sons of Anarchy and Veronica Mars. So it's definitely like this is his wheelhouse, and it's
Yeah.
really nice to see Angelina not as Maleficent.
Sure.
It's really nice to see her get her Logan on. I kind of enjoy that, you know.
Yeah, as I teased up top, do you buy it? Angelina Jolie is a hard drinking firefighter who lives in the woods.
Yeah, she's a great actress. And so I'm interested in seeing how it works out. But like, yeah, it's another one of those, and I guess that's another genre we'll keep making is just like uh older person had bad thing happen, now look after kid.
Yep,
It
yep,
is
yep.
it's its own new genre. So you even get the Johnny Cash little bit
Yeah.
in the trailer to let you know,
Oh
hey, we're
man.
gonna save a kid. You
It
can
is
tell
so
because Johnny Cash
Logan-y.
is
You're
there.
right. I didn't realize how Logan-y it had become. But man, look, Ryan wrote in the script. Remember Mr. and Mrs. Smith? I miss the 2000s. I do
Were you
too.
born?
I do too. And that's the
It
thing.
was
It's
a
like
solid 10 when Mr. and Mrs. Smith came out.
great flick to catch on cable for those of us who still have that. But yeah, I'm psyched for this movie. Casting aside, and frankly, even with the casting, I can suspend my disbelief. I just think she still looks amazing, which is, I think, to her detriment in this film. But yeah, I think it's got Nick Holt, it's got John Bernthal gruffing it up around there. Mayor Carcetti and slash Littlefinger.
I was about to say, wow, you really have purged that from your memory, haven't you?
GOT, yeah. He's the wire guy. So yeah, I mean, this has all the ingredients. I've loved everything this guy's done so far. I mean, the Jeffrey Wright one was, I don't know, we'll see. Almost too dark for me, but this one looks like a nice blend of Backdraft and Logan and Maleficent. So I'm totally down. And by the way, it's streaming on HBO Max. I don't gotta buy a ticket. Like, I already subscribe. I will definitely watch this day one. What about you?
Yeah, no, this is going into the calendar of things that I'm watching. Because I already have HBO Max, like you said. So I want to see them run from fire. I always like in these environmental movies, because it is one of like the major like man versus the world or whatever. But it's always interesting to see how they wind up like personifying. So I can't wait to hear like at least one really good monologue about the power of fire, because you know we're gonna get it.
Yeah, fire burns, water heals, or something like that.
Yes, that's
great.
exactly what I want.
It's gonna be great. But yeah, he can really do dialogue and action, and I think like Sicario's has aged like a fine wine. I mean, that's just such a good, tense, badass movie that he then. You're right. I take it back. I don't love everything because I think he took it too far into the like cool bro zone for Sicario too.
It was a cool bro movie.
Yeah, but still enjoyable. So yeah, let us know what you think in the chat, because you've already been letting us know your questions. Let's address them. Fiona Gilbert, no relation, asks, at least not that I know of, do you now think HBO Max is worth it? I've always thought it was the best of the bunch. Like, I think that just their deep catalog, Cartoon Network, like their sort of Criterion Collection or like their classic movies, they've got, and all of HBO is pretty much the best TV and film that you can get in one place on all these streaming things. What say you?
They've got like all the DC stuff. When I think about like, because I'm signed up for everything, and it's really hard for me to choose like, okay, well now your big thing is not done, so CBS will be back soon. But yeah, this has always been worth it for me. So I think now other people are starting to catch on, because I have seen people online who have said like I wasn't going to sign up for another service, but HBO Max, because most of us already had HBO on our phones or wherever anyway, just a little bit more and you get a lot. So this was never one that I was super worried about.
Yeah, I think it's just got better stuff. There's no other way around it. Like they all have their own advantages and exclusives, but I just think the library is the highest quality of any of the ones out there. Jonathan Charles writes, hot meat on salad or cold meat on salad?
I saved this from an old show. That's how much I wanted this question answered.
We just keep skipping the hot salad questions.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm not dodging it. I think cold. I don't really like. I mean, is it still a salad, or is it just like meat with like a on a bed of lettuce at that point?
If you go somewhere really fancy, then they call that like an amuse bouche or something, where you get a little bit of meat with a little bit of salad, and they're like, oh, it's just a garnish. No, this is a full plate of lettuce. When does it stop being a meal? So I think I gotta go cold meat on salad. I don't think that I'm really a hot meat person.
Yeah, when I think about the meaty salads, I like, you throw a Cobb in there, a chicken Caesar, Chinese chicken salad, like cold. I want it cold.
Yeah, it gets the lettuce all wilty if it's too hot.
Exactly. No one wants a wilted lettuce. All right. Burentu writes, I got one for you, Ryan. Oh, so I guess Ryan's answering this one. What detective stories should the Knives Out sequels emulate? I.e. Murder on the Orient Express, where it's all in a train. Ryan?
I think that was just a response to me asking for fan questions.
I'm sorry, that one's yours. Ball's in your court.
What was the question? Like, what type of detective story?
Yes, Ryan. What detective stories should the Knives Out sequels emulate?
Oh, I don't know. What's other good detective stories? Like Knives? I just said Knives Out. That's what she's asking. My answer is the first Knives Out. That's what they should be basing it on.
Great. Well done. Please, everybody, if you want Ryan to answer your question, address it to Ryan from Wong Fu. Thanks for everything. Signed, Julie Newmar. All right. Panther asks, what's your favorite movie, Monkey?
I don't really. I'm one of those people where if there's like a comedy monkey in there, you can like count me out.
Yeah.
I can't think of it. This is where don't get hit by a bus because you get brain holes.
Good advice.
What was the one where it was like a dude and a monkey in a truck in the 70s? Was it Any Which Way But Loose? No.
Turner and Hooch is a dog.
Yeah, whatever that one is, where it's the dude and a monkey in a truck. And I will think of the name of this movie the instant we are off air.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Mine is it's called, I have to look it up for a second. It's actually called Monkey Business. And I didn't mean to watch this film, but I just ended up watching it. It's a 1952 movie not starring Marilyn Monroe, but she's got like a big supporting part in it. And this has some of the most incredible monkey acting I've ever seen in my life. This monkey, there's like a Daredevil hallway scene length single shot of this monkey like escaping from its cage, getting into like some lab materials, mixing up some stuff in some beakers, drinking it, and you're like, how is this monkey doing this? This is incredible. So I think go watch Monkey Business. Marilyn Monroe and Cary Grant and Ginger Rogers, and it's just some like screwball 50s comedy about like they reverse the aging process. It's like a slapstick Benjamin Button, and it's full of monkey business, if you will, because they get into all sorts of scrapes and japes because the monkey mixes up the formula. So I think that's my favorite film, Monkey. A little classic throwback for you.
That's a good one. I also like Caesar. I like Caesar from Planet of the Apes.
Yeah,
dude's real smart.
Yep. Okay, so sorry, skipping the box office questions. We talked enough about the box office. For the Lewis Valenzuela writes, for the Knives Out sequels, would you want the side characters to do Looney Tunes impressions like Daniel Craig does with Foghorn Leghorn? Yes, I would. I think that you've got I think a wisecracking Bugs Bunny, maybe a mobster.
That could be good. I want to see Don Cheadle do it just because I keep saying his name but he's going to be in one of these. So I want his biggest I say for sure.
Yeah. And I think you could definitely have like a mute Wile E. Coyote evil genius who doesn't speak but like maybe holds up signs like this guy's a stinker or whatever. I would be into that, the Looney Tunification of the supporting cast. All right, Ms. Zorsa writes, inspired by Spencer's talk about Craig's drink of choice, or at least James Bond and what's the Knives Out guy's name?
Daniel Craig.
No, the character.
Wow.
Something like that.
LeBlanc. I keep wanting to say Matt LeBlanc, but I know that's Joey from Friends. Anyways, what are y'all's favorite cocktails? I like a good bramble in the summer and a mulled wine in the winter. Favorite cocktail? If you are a drinker, Daniel, I'm actually not.
Benoit Blanc. Sorry.
Benoit Blanc.
Thank you. Benoit Blanc. Thank you.
Matt LeBlanc.
I think LeBlanc used to do some of the Looney Tunes voices, I think.
Yeah.
For me, I like I call it the Secretary Special. It's a good
Mm.
vodka soda. I call it that because we're not drinking too much vodka. You've got a lot of the soda, so you've got your water built in. You get like 3 of those, you're good, you're feeling good, but you're not like knocked on your butt. And then you can go do whatever it is you have to do the next day without feeling terrible.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, I'm not much of a cocktail guy. I guess I would do. I mean, I drink a lot of whiskey and gingers
Ooh.
because I feel like the whiskey is poisoning your stomach, but the ginger is healing at the same time. So it kind of has like a neutralizing effect. And I also just in a moment of laziness during the pandemic, I put a bunch of tequila inside a 20-ounce bottle of Squirt, and it was delicious.
Oh,
It was
that is
like
ingenious.
a dirty margarita. It was great. So Squirt and tequila or whiskey ginger. Those would be my choices.
That's a good one.
But if you go to a bar and it's like the Squizzleberry Razzmatazz and it's got 7 ingredients, it's good. I'm just not gonna it's not my first choice.
I'm not drinking things out of jelly jars. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like if it comes in a jelly jar, it's not for me.
Okay, we'll end on something very I don't know what to call this. Bittersweet.
Ooh.
Jim 1 asks, if you could go back in time and relive a great year in your life, which would it be?
This one was existential.
Yeah, I was like, so to see the movies you saw the first time, or no, to relive that year of your life?
I think just in general, the way that the chat responded, I think just what year of your life would you like to relive?
Oh gosh. Well, it would have to be.
We could say movies because that's the show or whatever.
Well, no, I mean it would have to be obviously the one where I almost went state in football. Like that's the one that people always want to go back to, right? 1 year in my life, I don't know. I would avoid my 20s. I think it would be my 30th birthday. I'm avoiding my 20s altogether. You're not a grown up yet. Your head has just started to mold. So I think I would take 30, where I'm smart enough to not make bad decisions.
Well, that's the thing is it's like, yeah, are you in reliving it? Are you just on like a train track? Like you have to make all the same decisions? Or you're just like John Malkoviching, like looking through your own eyes as you relive this and you're powerless to change anything? Because then like nothing, that sounds awful. I mean, maybe like a little kid, like out of curiosity to be like, oh, that's fun. Like you get to play around, but that would get boring. And then any year in my life that I was forced to just observe and not do anything about, it'd be like, do you want to buy this Facebook stock? Like, no, that's stupid.
I have no mouth, but I must scream.
Very much. So I would not want to relive any year of my life because the best days are ahead of us, aren't they, Danielle?
We look forward, not back.
And I hope for you too, Jim 1. All right, and final question. Darius Kemp asked, Danielle, what future movies not starring a white dude are you excited for?
Oh, not starring a white dude that I am excited for. That's a good one that put me on the spot. I'm looking forward to The Heights. I really want The Heights. I've been looking forward to that for like a year. I want it. I want all the musicals. I'm ready for all of that stuff to come back. So yeah, The Heights is going to be.
That play was huge. I think I was in high school theater or like right after around that time. And I think just because Hamilton became like a pop culture phenomenon, they forget like how big that play was already for Lin-Manuel. That play was very popular.
Yeah, that was huge.
Yeah.
So that and like oh god, now I can't think of the other one. See, brain holes. The Spielberg's doing it based on the
West Side
thing.
Story?
Maria, thank you.
Yeah.
West Side Story, which it's got some white dudes in it, but
It's got an Ansel in there, I believe.
They got an Ansel.
Did we ever find out if Ansel was consoled?
Yeah, do they have an Ansel? I'm not sure. Yeah, we'll have to follow up on that. But I think as of right now, we can assume so. Yeah,
we'll have to do a consolation check on Ansel to see. But yeah, there you go. And I was trying to think of some, but there aren't too many that spring to mind. Not because I don't want to see them, but because how many movies are there that don't star white dudes? What were you saying, Ryan?
Shang-Chi is one that's already thrown out in the chat. The Candyman reboot from Adam Holbert. Black Panther 2 from Matthew McGuire. That's a little bit farther down the line, but yeah, excited for that.
Yeah.
That one as well. So yeah, and does Mortal Kombat count? I mean, Mortal Kombat, I think maybe that main character is, but it seems like a pretty non-white heavy ensemble cast as well. And
yeah. Sub-Zero. Unsure. I have to check the casting. It's so masked. All right. Thank you guys for watching to this point. That was a fun show. I always have fun when it's S&D Nation.
Doing it.
And we will do it again soon. I promise you. Someone will be back on Friday to do the Falcon Winter Soldier review. And then it'll be the same old gang, same old place. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.